very, very shortly. So perfect conditions. It's about a 14 or 15 degree day. Nice and still here at Windy Hill, the original heartland of the Essendon Football Club. Of course, venturing down to Tullamarine these days, but one of those traditional footballing venues that a lot of people watching this stream, I'm sure, went along to back in the day, either with their folks or took the kids along way back when. But I think when did they stop playing at Windy Hill? 91-ish?
About then.
Yeah.
I can't see the windsock. Where's Sheeds' windsock? It's not there
Were
today.
confused? Was it Adelaide or West Coast? I think with that sock one set. They took the sock down. Adelaide kicked against the breeze, and Essendon kicked 9 1/4, I think, which is one of the old wily tricks of Kevin Sheedy back in the day. So it will be Vic Metro heading towards the left of your stream and Vic Country down towards the main grandstand end. So it will be Conway up and winning the first tap decisively. That was a pretty efficient work out of the middle. Gadsby bounces it down towards about 35. Clever little tap down there by McAndrew that we spoke about early days. Here's Dacos straight into his work, weaving through traffic and dropping the ball into that defensive corridor. Now they'll try to switch it out the other side. Didn't get great purchase on that. It was knocked down by Clark, but eventually Metro might be able to repel. That's a tidy kick in a bit of traffic, which finds Howes on the half-back flank. Delivers into the middle of the ground. It goes over the head there of Windhager, who was the intended target. Picked up beautifully there by Dibb, who tried to feed it back. Now some pressure from Country in the middle of the ground. They should be able to force a stoppage here. Umpire gives him a bit of time and will eventually call for the bounce.
And Yusuf Dibb, the smaller player that gathered at his toes, the Next Generation Academy Collingwood player, so eligible like Dacos, under similar rules to the father-son rule to play for Collingwood. Watch his form very closely today.
Conway won the tap and then went and got his own footy again. There's Andrew splitting the pack, brings it to ground here for Clark to track onto the ball about 55 metres out. Spears a low bouncing left foot kick in. Good attack on the ball there. It allows Metro to repel. Preston here, left foot kick is a good one down towards the wing. It was Morrison there that got a hand on it and brought it to ground. But first on the scene and bouncing Metro down towards half forward. Picked up there by Hamilton at half back. Brought down in a tackle. And now we'll have a bounce about 55 metres around from the Vic Metro goal. It was Mitch Owens getting involved in that passage of play before for Metro. Hand pass outs. Good use of the body there by Dacos, although he was outpointed by Hobbs, who controlled that nicely. Quick kick out of there is cut off by Sin that we spoke about. So Sin, boy from Sandringham, missed a bit of footy, was back in the side a couple of weeks ago. Sets that one up to about 35. Front and centre off hands. Ball smothered off the boot there of Darcy, and ricochets over for a throw-in. 20 around from the Metro goal.
And Ben Hobbs is a player we'll watch closely today. Had the first clearance of the game. He's gathered again then. He is an absolute ball magnet, this boy, a prolific ball winner. I think he's a bit like a Lockie Neal. He's just never out of the game. He plays with so much energy, zest, you'd call it, in and around the ball. There's a leader as well. He's one of their joint captains today with Campbell Chesser, who will play on the wing for Vic Country.
McDonald gave that one to Hamilton, who sent it wide to the half-back flank and over for a throw-in. Still 70 around from the Metro goal. No score in these early stages of the contest. Been travelling a few minutes, as we say. Perfect conditions for footy. We see Conway again in the ruck, who's been pretty good in the early stages. He wins another tap there down towards Hobbs, who couldn't take possession. Shoveled hand pass over the head there of Ward. They retreat back to the wing position. Chipping ball there from Sin goes out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will be taken here by Oscar Morrison. We go retrieve his own footy from the cricket nets. Was it 6 that Darcy kicked in the last rep match?
Yeah, Sam Darcy 6, and it was Judson Clark, of course, that kicked the 5 for Vic Country in the same game. Both of those boys obviously out here today and in great form and touch.
As Conway was the target of that kick, Hobbs now tackled by Howes. And the ball will be thrown up about half a metre inside the boundary line. So on our broadcast wing, interchange side of the venue, contesting the ruck on that occasion, Padhajki. Gets one out of there. Little underground ball from Dacos towards the boundary line, and that one should be declared deliberate out of bounds, and it will be. There was not a lot on offer for Dacos further afield, so went for touch. And the free kick will go the way of Vic Country on the half-back line. Here is Morrison, and he'll get a 50-metre penalty too, so the double whammy from that free kick, encroaching over the mark there was Windhager, which will drag Vic Country down to about 2 kicks from goal, probably 70 around from their goal. They're trying to look for the overlap runner, decides to kick instead. Down towards McAndrew, at the back of the pack, front and centre, close to the boundary line and over just before Bravo could keep that one alive. Ball to be thrown in about 5 metres around from Country's goal, their first meaningful foray into attack. They've had a couple that have sort of danced around the edge of 50, but this one, the deep entry. Testing the ruck this time, Wrench. Trying to run onto that loose ball was Clark. It's hacked out into a bit of space. McAndrew diving low over it. Did very well to control that. Shoveled the hand pass out, but the numbers were with Metro. Ward was there. Chipping ball out wide. Mark taken here by Saligo that we saw play very well last Saturday night. Sin in the middle of the ground. Kicks over the head of a couple of teammates, but they did have the numbers there. Taylor steps through the centre circle. Well-directed kick, and it finds its way down towards a target right on 50. Dibble bounced that one down to about 35. Lands at the toes of a teammate and allows a chance here for Country to clear, and they do so comfortably, and Gadsby takes the mark. Half-back flank. So Noah Gadsby from the Geelong Falcons. Well-weighted kick just inside the boundary line. Finds a target there in Chesser. And Chesser again, another neat kick. So working it down this broadcast boundary quite effectively. Nevitt kicks that ball to about 35 and Andrew takes the mark. Just judged it better than those around him. A couple flew through the air. And Andrew just stood there strong in the contest and marks 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Wonderful to see the boys together there, Cooey and Andrew. They've been opponents in a couple of contests at the moment, but Andrew, the 200-centimetre boy we mentioned, they're both Sudanese youngsters, and with, the likes of some role models in the AFL today, maybe O'Shoal, etc.
And that's a beautiful looking kick, and he's got it inside. Sweet execution off the boot, and I think when we spoke last Saturday night in the freezing cold conditions at Frankston, that we spoke about how Andrew was missing, but how he may potentially be the pick of the Sudanese recruits.
Yeah, and we're just seeing it unfold. He's had about 4 or 5 games this year. That's all. We had that concussion issue, I think, up at Bendigo, and he took a terrific mark and just got a knock on the side of the face, and as a precaution he missed a couple of weeks. But gee, we've been tantalised by what we've seen to date. He was added to the Australian under-18 team. That's how good he was early in the year, and was impressive in that game, in amongst the best boys in Australia against the Geelong VFL team, against many listed players. And it's the little teaser that we had, is amongst the best players in that game that pushed his ranking up a little.
Super clearance there out of the middle by, it was... Gota out of there. It's brought out towards the wing position, and the mark taken comfortably by Clifford. Clifford's chipping ball finds Dacos just inside the wing. Looking to find a target inside. Good kick, and the mark almost taken there at the stretch by Darcy, who split the pack. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Here's McDonald, who was so prolific in that game last weekend. Hand pass over the top, looking for Rochelle. Feeds it back again. They've got some options in the corridor. Kick has to be good. Nevitt ends up taking the mark on the bobble. Just backwards of the centre circle. Good size to him. Chips it out wide. So they're controlling the ball well short. Clark, they've now got some players out the back. 55 metres from goal. They'll set it up towards the leading target. And the mark spilt there by Wrench. It ended up getting through him over the hands of a couple of defenders as a free kick that's going to go the way of Metro for some interference to Akui, who sends it out wide towards Owens, who marks, or actually drops just short of Owens, who might receive the hand pass here on the overlap. He does. Now he slides it through to Dacos again. Dacos will go down towards half forward. And it's a nicely executed kick, mark taken here by Payer, who sends it towards about 45. Numbers there with Country, who killed that one over the boundary line And that was Brewer, and we'll have a throw-in about 55 around from the Metro goal.
And Dacos has got the ball in his hands a few times already, but he's had the 5 games at NAB League level and averaged 35.8 disposals. So
and he's kicked a couple of goals most games as well.
And he's a goal kicker as well. So he's really a jet. You describe him as that in recruiting terms. He just has got that nous for where to go. He's got good athletic ability. He's tough. He kicks the big goals as well, and he looks to be a really exciting prospect for AFL ranks as soon as next year.
Is it conceivable of those two father-sons are pick 1 and 2? Is that...
Well, that's the bidding process.
Conceivable, yeah.
They're certainly in the top bracket of players, no doubt about that, and the clubs I'll think about as we get to our rankings right at the end of the year. But there's a lot to play out, but there are 2 exciting players in Darcy and Dacos.
Sent it to Ballantyne down towards the target there in Conway, who couldn't take the mark. Under a bit of pressure here, Metro. They are in possession via Owens, but stripped of it now. Bergman was stepping through there, gave the hand pass back towards Ballantyne, who was under a bit of pressure in the middle of the ground, ends up swarmed by a couple, and we'll have a bounce just backwards of the centre circle. Jamison Ballantyne had a couple of touches in the last few minutes. Conway, who's doing pretty well in the ruck, down towards McDonald, who couldn't take that one out. The clearance instead, that one there by Goto, who sends that one to half-back. Taken there by Preston, who's a neat left-foot kick. Chips that one forward towards Padhajski. Goes into the middle of the ground. Ball squeezed out by hand towards Taylor. Taylor pulls the kick cleverly, and the mark taken on the second bite by Dibb. Good lowering of the eyes, and then Dibb will move it on to find a player a little closer to goal there, and Saligo, who's got it about 25 metres out on a tightish angle, but certainly a very gettable shot in these conditions.
And he's been a goal kicker too this year, this boy from, he's down at Dramana, an Eastern Rangers boy. Was in good form in that match, the night match at Frankston the other week for the Rangers, and played well in the trial.
And that's a neat-looking kick. Yep. And they open their scoring with a major. So a goal apiece, goals to McAndrew and Jake Saligo, and it's 1 straight 6 apiece. That was really nice ball movement from Metro forward of centre to create that opportunity, and we find ourselves a goal apiece. For those who might not be familiar, in terms of the age qualifications, we get those mix of some that are already 19, some that turn 19 already in the year, some that are obviously in that 18 bracket. We know we've got an under 17 sort of rep level as well, but in terms of what the actual cut-off is in terms of eligibilities, we see McAndrew in the ruck there, and then following up his own football. That's electric out of the middle. Left foot kick inside. Front and centre work there done by Gadsby, who just got pulled off the kick, just got a boot to it to avoid a free kick being paid. Now there will be a free kick paid the way of Metro for some interference down there, which is going to go the way of, that's Andrews in the back pocket.
Yeah, the answer to that question, it's an under-19 competition, so if you are turning 19 years of age in this calendar year, you're eligible.
Even if it's January 2? Or?
Yes, exactly, but there are 4 AFL clubs that are assisting with the selection, and they'll be picking those that they think are best chances to get to the AFL, whether you're 19 or 18. And so the majority of the boys out here are 18. They're in their 18th year rather than their 19th.
As Country go forward again, it's a 1-on-4, and good defensive mark taken there for Metro on the last line of defence. The ball will be brought out wide, where it'll be taken here by Rankin. Rankin will go over the top. It was touched off the boot. Here's Dacos again at probably possession number 6 or thereabouts. Trying to slide in and mark that one was Darcy. Just couldn't quite get a clean run at the footy. And now the umpire will come in and bounce it at centre half forward for Metro. Pretty even contest. The best talent of Victoria on display. There is Dacos trying to weave his way through there. Hand pass didn't go far. Hobbs was involved again. It squeezed out here towards Chesser. They break through the middle of the ground. An unfortunate and untimely slip there in defence should have cost Cleary a little bit as they go down towards the pocket here, Country. It'll float. It'll land a metre or two short there of the big man in Wrench. We just couldn't quite get there to take the chest mark, and in the end we'll have a boundary throw in, and he'll now wander back and contest the ruck.
And big wrench, big Josh wrench it is. 197 centimetres, 100 kilos already, this boy from up at Penshurst. He's got a bit of a physical presence up there. The way he plays for the Rebels, I've seen him kick 5 in a game and 4 in a game this year. So there's a little bit of the whole tomahawk as a country boy as well about him because of that big body and the way he competes for his team up there. And if he doesn't mark it, he gets it to ground. He makes space for the little fellas as well as kicking his goals.
And there he is taking the ball out of the ruck and snapping it down towards the top of the goal square. It'll bounce across the face. Shades of, we see Rowan Marshall do that a lot in the ruck. Now that the rules allow players to take it out of there.
I think, Tom Hawkins is the expert at that, isn't he?
That's right.
Another forward dimension to his game with the way he's done that in recent years.
It's basically the specialist exclusive forward 50 ruckman. To go with obviously his other roles. Gave a little bit of a nudge there on his opponent in Vicentini, pushing him under the footy, but Metro will take it through the middle of the ground. The bouncing ball, tunnel ball, Dacos, taken here by Country again. They'll float the kick out wide. Nevitt on the lead out after that football. In fact, it was Sarong that was on the lead out after that football. Nevitt was in the vicinity. Here's Dacos, who tracked back onto it really well. Feeds the hand pass through towards Warner. It's taken again there with a left foot kick inside there by Gadsby, but turned over. And across the defensive 50, risky kick out. Showed a fair bit of that to the opposition. Flirting there with Ballantyne, who got a spoil to bring it to ground. Going in there to help tidy it up there is Rake, who sends that one out wide. Mark taken here by Ward on the half-back flank. We'll go into the middle of the ground and find Vicentini, who sends it down towards half-forward. Numbers here with Country at the back of that pack. Brewer turns around and delivers the ball towards wing and half-back. And they're happy to just take a bit of the pace out of the game here, Country. Prepared to use it short. And then when necessary, go long down the line here, which was ill-directed. There was any of 3 Metro players that could have taken that mark. And in the end, it was Cleary that drew that winning ticket. Sin through the middle of the ground. Mark taken smack bang in the centre circle there by Gota. It'll come through towards half forward. Now the left foot ball down towards the pocket. Well judged in the air, and the mark taken about 25 metres out on a slight angle, and an opportunity here for Metro to convert their second goal, and the kick to be taken here by Payer. Good movement forward of centre. So Payer behind the kick, about 25 metres out. It just started on the left post and then drifted further away to the left. So the first blemish, 117 Vic Metro, Vic Country 1 straight 6.
Just a couple of leading possession wins. Dacos is up to 9 disposals. Sin across half back with 8. Josh Ward, the number 6, the left footer through the midfield for Metro with 6 as well. Gota with 5. Come to the Country ones in a sec.
And there is Ward again getting another of those possessions. Now the left foot kick will go down towards Payer again at the top of the square. It's punched over the back and it run through for a rush behind before Rankin could get there and impact. So 1-2-8 to 1 straight 6. The eyes of Rankin would have lit up there, but the ball just picked up a bit too much pace offhand. Country quickly worked the ball down towards the wing position. There is Wrench, who didn't get the kindest of bounces, but cleverly flicked it over his head, looking for Bravo, who didn't get the kindest of bounces either. And now a chance there for Windhager to chip it down towards half forward. Metro having a good couple of minutes. And there is Rankin that we spoke about. Sets that one up down towards the top of the goal square. They've got the high flyers there. No mark taken. Owens offhand, snaps it over the top, and it bounces through. I just had to check if it was touched off hands. It wasn't. And it's a goal to Mitch Owens. He gets his first, and Metro consolidating that good little position in the last few minutes. 2-2-14, Vic Country 1 straight 6.
Yeah, smart work for this boy. He's a Mentone grammar boy from Beaumaris. He's a lovely size too to play that half-forward type role. He's about the 190 centimetre mark, and he's noted for his goal kicking. He's one that is still 17 years of age, will turn 18 in September, so there's plenty of growth in him, even physically. So very smart in his left foot, a natural right footer.
So we're back in the middle. 2-2-14 Vic Metro. Vic Country 1 straight 6. 8-point lead to the Melburnians, if you will. It comes out the back here towards Conforti. Sends a kick out wide. They've got it between wing and half forward. Going down towards the leading target, who was pushing out hard at the ball there in Rochelle, but one at the back here by Metro, trying to keep that ball alive, which might work to their advantage, although they're swarmed here by the Vic Country boys on the half-forward flank. Ball spills its way out, stepping through traffic. Hand pass through to McDonald. McDonald will kick on the outside of the right boot under pressure and put it out of bounds on the full.
And just mentioning the leading possession winners at this point for Country, Nevitt in the Mitch Nevitt through the midfield with 6 disposals is on top. Morrison playing in deep defence has had the 5 disposals. Hobbs on ball. Ben Hobbs has had the 5, and Gatsby, you've mentioned a number of times, has had the 4 disposals, along with Judson Clark, the left footer up forward.
Here's Dacos with possession number 10. Chips that one towards a teammate there in Warner, who takes the mark. They share it over the top. Taken through the middle of the ground there by Clifford, who sends it out wide. They've got a bit of run. They've left the footy behind. A missed opportunity. McDonald goes back in after it and wins it back for Country. And that's a neat kick into the middle of the ground. Held onto it nicely until he had the options present for him further afield. Now the ball's sent out wide, off half back. They can load up here. Drawing it and going over the top. A good little 1-2 here for Molan. Sends it down to about 45. It now a dinky kick over the top, and Molan kept on running, spilt the mark. He's got time to gather and kick the goal. Charlie Molan did that very well. It was Sarong that fed it to him over the top, but Molan with 3 efforts down the wing got a 1-2 in front of our broadcast position and then kept on charging inside 50 and had the composure to finish. 2 straight 12 Vic Country, 2-2-14 Vic Metro.
A terrific piece of play, particularly by Charlie Molan. There's a boy from the the Greater Western Victoria Rebels, a Ballarat boy, in fact, from East Point, that he'd been a very talented basketballer. Many of these boys are in their upbringing and go mix between playing some state underage basketball and some football as well. But he's a boy that still to find his real position. Looks like he can play wing, half forward, half back even, and just still growing into his body. He's 186 centimetres already, so nice rangy type. And that was an excellent passage of play from he.
So out of the middle, Conway had his hand pass knocked down, fed out of there by Gota, who's had a bit of the ball. Saligo sends the kick further afield towards Curtis. Curtis back to Saligo, who kept on running. Tries to hit a target inside 50 there in Darcy. Ball knocked away from he. Close to the boundary line, Dibb keeps it alive. Now the banana will go across the face, and Rankin climbing high. Got a hand to it and through for a behind. 2-3-15 Vic Metro, and it's 2 straight 12 for Vic Country. 3-point ball game. They'll attack down the outer side, or defend down the outer side of the ground. Intercept mark taken effectively there by Lou. Kicks it high in the air. There's a massive pack of players. Good luck marking that. Darcy brings it to ground at the back of that pack. Ball worked through there nicely. It was Conforti that got a hand on that. They tried to clear it out of their country, and the skewed kick back inside goes out on the full. So their free kick in the back pocket. They want to switch it across this side of the ground. It's a dangerous looking ball. It asked a little bit there of Morrison. Eventually they should be able to work this out. They'll kick it down towards the wing position. A one-on-one there, well judged in flight, and a terrific mark taken by Cleary. Chips it into the middle of the ground. Finds a target there in Taylor, who gave it off to Preston, and Preston's short ball inside 50 finds a target here, probably 45 metres out directly in front, and an opportunity for Metro to kick their 3rd goal.
Might be Curtis, is it?
It is.
Curtis 11.
So Paul Curtis kicking directly in front. It's a nice looking kick off the boot. It sails through. He gets his first, and It was Paul Curtis, the boy that kicked, was it 4 1/4 when we did the Western Jets game earlier in the year?
Yeah, he's the boy, all right. That was against Sandy, the favoured side
Trevor
on
Barker
the day.
Oval,
Yep. He was very impressive. We thought that could be his moment. That could launch him. Well, it certainly launched him into Vic Metro. It's got him into this. He played well in the trials the other week as well. He kicked three goals. Could have kicked even 5 or 6. Just got that... I suppose that innate ability around the goals, it's the set shot there, which he's pretty good at, but he's also good on the snap and reads it very, very well offhand. So he looks a very promising player as that small forward.
Vic Metro 3-3-21. Vic Country 2 straight 12. Hobbs out of the middle of the ground. Kick cut off there by Saligo out wide. Draws the player, goes over the top to Taylor, who's had a bit of the ball as well. Minor fumble, just held him up a fraction. He'll chip it to Dacos, who runs hard to half forward, decides to play on, crosses 50, goes long towards the teeth of goals. Morrison sitting underneath it, took an excellent mark under a fair bit of heat. Had a pack of 4 or 5 converging on him. Ball sent out wide towards Andrew, who just lost his footing. And as it's worked towards the boundary line and over for a throw-in, as the siren sounds to end the first term, Vic Metro, with that late goal, establishing a 9-point advantage. They've had 6 scoring shots to 2 and probably a little bit more field position over that first quarter. 3-3-21 they are. Vic Country 2 straight 12. The goal kickers are Saligo, Curtis and Owens. And for Vic Country, Molan and Andrew have their goals. Some nice footy played across the board. It's a 9-point lead to the boys from Metropolitan Melbourne.
Playing through the midfield, he glides over the ground. He's the guy he's had the full clearance, but he's setting it up. He's got terrific hands and vision, setting it up to the outside runners, and he's had the 6 disposal and been impressive. And the other one is Preston down back, Corey Preston. We'd seen him as a half-forward considered for last year's draft. He's been played on the wing and recently played across half-back. He's been super impressive today. He had a ripper trial there a couple of weeks back, but he looks to have really come on from that and had an excellent first quarter. He certainly picked up the ball 7 times, and it was Connor McDonald there in the finish. End up with 8, the leading possession winner for Vic Country. We'd seen him dominate just a week ago. Reminds me of a Jack Steele, if you're looking for someone to compare him with. Just a no-fuss player, does most things right. A lovely size, he's quick enough, he gets down in defence to help out. And I noticed he had 4 rebound 50s in that quarter by getting down and helping out.
Pretty clinical out of the middle. Podajski won the tap at half forward. Rankin with a quick kick forward. Darcy took the contested mark and then stepped around and kicked a very classy goal on the left foot. And they get their 4th. They move along now to 4 goals, 3-27 to 2 straight 12.
Well, that's a 204-centimetre boy. He's just slipping to his left side and poking it through from the boundary line like shelling peas. They did it so naturally and so easy, and he is a right footer, not like Dad, the left footer. That was pretty special, and they're the moments we have seen over the course of this year. In different sort of circumstances. Sometimes it's been at centre back with his contested marking, he's worked through the ruck, or his goal kicking up forward. He's just so composed and balanced with those lovely hands.
4-3-27 to 2 straight 12. A touch of class from Darcy, who was a little quieter in the first quarter, but always a danger. But Hadski's certainly hit back in the ruck after a good start by his opposite number, Conway, in that first term. Dacos, lovely work through traffic. Metro go forward again, enjoying a good little period in the game. An unfortunate slip there from Payer allowed the mark to be taken by Gibcus in defence, who goes short and wide down towards the Bowls Club side here at Windy Hill. Searching kick down the line. Good mark taken in the contest there by Nevitt. He's got a good size to him. We saw him down in Ballarat watching that contest a few weeks back, post the resumption from COVID. Looking for Andrew there in the contest. The ball gets over the back. Numbers here with Country. They can lope along towards 50 and set that one up towards the pocket. Akui getting the punch in there from the forward who was off balance and sends it over for a throw in 25 metres around from the Country goal, who need one just to settle back into the contest. They've conceded the last couple.
And Nevitt's an interesting one for a midfielder at 194 centimetres. You know, that can mark overhead like that. He's quick over the ground. He's a sub 3 second for the 20 metres as well. So this is the boy here with the ball in hand. Had a great start to the game, and we've loved what we've seen from him playing for the Geelong Falcons this year as well.
His kick was touched off the boot. Dacos gets it in the back pocket. Kick just had a little bit too much carry on it and went over for a throw-in in the opposite pocket, 40 around from the country goal. Up around the 13 possession mark for Dacos at this early stages at 11 at quarter time. He's picked up a couple in this term already. Wrench in front position, takes that one out of the ruck, hand passes it forward. Chance there, crashing through there was Gadsby. Kick was off balance, just couldn't quite get that steadying step in, and it goes out of bounds on the full. Metro quickly into their work. Here is Ward, who was prolific in the first quarter, taking the mark on the half-back flank. Tries to draw a runner and will do so. Ball should come inside here towards Dacos. In fact, they sold some candy and went by foot instead, looking for Darcy, but the kick was ill-directed, and Conway gets in the way and takes the mark. The ruckman dropping a kick behind the play, as was tradition. Gadsby marks here on the back edge of the centre square.
Good to see big Conway take that mark. Do you know that he models his game on Oscar McInerney?
Well, there you go.
And for one of the reasons, the way he gets down to defence to help out his teammates for the Brisbane Lions, of course. And it's exactly what Conway did on that occasion with a very, very good contested mark in the hole.
There was Wilmot coming off half-back. Dacos spins on the spot. Chipping kick out wide towards Windhager, who slides the hand pass back through. Kick partially smothered on the Ward kick. It'll come back again. Driving forward there is Country. It's got a little bit too much carry on it over the back. Numbers here with Metro. Clifford steps around. Ball chips into the corridor. And now Metro can potentially carry this the full length of the ground. They've got players in space all the way through the middle. And there it was, Sin sort of stepping through. Long kick forward down towards the contest. Dibb was beaten towards that front and centre by Brown. Off half-back, Conforti stepping through. Foot kick out wide. It'll bounce down towards half-forward. Good attack there coming up by Rochelle. Goes towards Andrews. Andrews shoots towards goal. McAndrew and away to the left-hand side. 2-1-13 Vic Country. 4-3-27 Vic Metro. Ball brought in towards Josh Sin again. Goes towards the half-back line and Warner takes the mark. Just outside defensive 50. He'll go short to Dacos. Footage of him at the MCG the other day with the old man watching Collingwood. And, of course, the older brother as Andrew judges that well. Cuts across and takes the intercept mark. Chips it in towards McDonald, who gets a lot of the footy. Slightly over-kicks that one and allows the defensive mark or the intercept mark to be taken there pretty comfortably by Wilmot. Had about 3 options. Just didn't quite hit the kick. Wider go Metro on the opposite half-back flank. Owens, who's been pretty lively. So again on that Bowls Club side, they'll hug that wing, kick down towards Dibb, who gave a nice nudge in that, got away with it. We'll chip it over the top, looking for the big fella here in Padajski. Just went a little bit away from him. Curtis pushing out, couldn't take possession either. There's Padajski on his knees. Nevitt steps through, kicks towards a 1-on-3, and the mark climbing up over the top. Well judged. And Metro can move it on quickly down towards half-forward. There's Curtis gathering the bouncing ball. Steps through traffic. Just didn't quite break the last tackle. Was held up, squeezed the hand pass out, and it's over for a throw-in.
I think it was De Bolfo was the marker back there on that occasion. The intercept marker, which he's been doing that a lot for the Northern Knights this year. Had a very impressive year. About the 189 centimetre mark, playing often on taller opponents, but can pick up the mediums as well.
Conway in the front position there, needing a goal, Vic Country. 14 points in arrears. There's Nevitt sliding that hand pass through. Conforti was in there again. Floating kick down towards Andrew. Got a hand to it and took the mark. And it took the umpire a while to pay it, but certainly a mark and very creative. McDonald receives the short pass on the Edge of the square. Kicks towards the leading target. Well-directed kick. Wrench comes out and takes that mark. A fraction too far out to score. He fancies his chances. No, he'll go short towards a leading player in the pocket, and it's a poorly directed kick. Owens takes the intercept mark. They've done a bit of that in this quarter. And a good kick down towards the leading target there in Curtis, who quickly bounces to his feet. Didn't have a lot of options immediately as he turned onto his left. Goes inside towards Dibb. Dibb's hands were good. And the defensive pressure this time coming from Metro. And they lock the ball into their forward line about 35, 40 metres out. Conway in front position, feeds that one down. Molan, who kicked that nice goal, steps through and chips it towards Hobbs. Hobbs will immediately move it on. It was a little half volleyball, so no mark paid. Awkward kick there from Gadsby has created a bit of a problem there for Country. They control the ball okay there. Hamilton sends it down towards half forward. Good mark taken on the vertical leap there from Rochelle. 52 metres out, directly in front. He'll go long towards the goal square. Might even go a little bit beyond that. Gets a block and it bounces into the post. Landed about a metre short. Saw the open goal square. The eyes lit up and almost executed that perfectly. 2-2-14 Vic Country. 4-3-27 Vic Metro. And that kick just carried out of bounds on the full on its way to Lachlan Rankin.
Yeah, Rochelle's one to really watch today. He's probably the most likely small forward across Australia to be taken reasonably early in the draft. He kicked 6, I think it was last weekend. He's kicked a bag of 4. He's got some power. You've seen that jump for the mark. That's one of the tricks he's got in his little kit bag. But a prolific ball winner as a crummer up forward and can take that one-on-one mark.
Gadsby, kick had a little bit too much on it at the back. It was well judged by Akui, who took the mark. Goes towards Preston, who sends that one out wide. Looking towards Payer out there. We'll ball one back here by Country. That's nice little work there by Molan, who's been one of their more influential players. Slides that one through again. 50 metres out, hard up against the boundary line. Kick down towards the top of the goal square. Trying to keep that one alive there was Clark. Couldn't do so. And the ball to be thrown in about 8 metres around from the Vic Country goal. We saw Clark with a nice finish last week that sparked a bit of a fight back for his group. They ended up getting beaten in any case, but they did get out to a 10-point lead midway through that last quarter. Stepping through nicely there was Sin. Good kick into the middle of the ground. Finds Owens, who's one of the late ins and been very effective. Good tackle. And the free kick will go the way there of Country. And the man who's had a good 5 minutes in Molan. Chips towards McDonald. Just went the required 15. Plays on straight away. Floats the kick towards the pocket. Ill-directed. And Preston takes the mark. Goes to Akui. Preston didn't play last week, did he? I think he was absent from that game we called. The Eastern Rangers. Short ball in towards Saligo. Risky kick across. It's cut off. And he must have been tempted there, Sarong, the brother of, to play on and run into the open goal, but decided he'd settle things down and go back and have the set shot from about 35 metres out directly in front.
And like his brother, he's gone down to the Geelong Grammar School to finish his last couple of years of schooling, and a boy from Gippsland, and a lot different to the brother in terms of the size. He's 192 already.
And Saligo will feel a little bit better about himself. They had a couple of teammates go over and give him the pat on the head for that turnover because the ball has been missed. Sarong dragging that one savagely away to the left-hand side, so no major damage done. 2-3-15 to Vic Country, 4-3-27 to Vic Metro. Lead it by 12 points. Kick out wide towards Ward, who's been good. He'll go centrally towards a man who's also been good in Gota. Sends it out wide to Saligo, who straight back into the action. This one's a neat delivery. Mark taken. Ball fed over the top there. There's Rake and also Vicentini involved. It comes back to Saligo. Saligo kept his head, chips it inside 50 and cutting it off nicely across that defensive end. Country doing some good work down there. Ball towards, it was Hobbs. Now Andrew takes a good mark, the vertical leap. He's got some tricks.
He could have been more impressive this
That's
quarter.
right.
He's shown 3 or 4 tricks this quarter. And the Melbourne supporters, particularly watching and listening in today, would be pretty happy with what they've seen. They've got the first opportunity, I suppose, for this young player. We'll explain the next generation rule a little bit later, but yeah, Mac Andrew, very impressive.
Taken some good marks from difficult positions. He's been completely out of contest, and nice set shot as well. Here's Dacos. Speaking of impressive, goes to Ward. Ward will move it on quickly as they hug the boundary line. It gets on the bounce through there towards Windhager. Windhager will go long towards goal and kicks a very, very nice goal. Just snuck it inside, but good presence of mind to turn, go and attack from that angle. And it's 5-3-33 to Vic Metro, 2-3-15 to Vic Country.
And Windhager, in fact, normally plays at half-back, but obviously can play in a range of spots, a boy of around the 183-centimetre mark. But he's a next-gen Academy St Kilda boy, so they'll get the first dibs. Now, back to Mac Andrew. In fact, if there's a bid before 20, you can't match the bid. And so Melbourne would be fairly nervous about that on the way and what he's shown in this first half here today. But a long way to go, of course, in the year. This is just early days. The boys are still finding their feet. There's been some missed kicks and some slips and things in this first half. So we're not seeing the final product, if you like. But Andrew certainly has been impressive with his moments today.
When you factor in Melbourne's first pick in the draft is likely to be around maybe at best 16, 17, the way they're travelling at present. So we'll give a few other sides an opportunity ahead of them if he continues to impress to the level with which he has. He's been arguably the biggest takeaway so far from the game. There was Hobbs, whose hand pass was knocked down. Ward, good little sidestep shimmy there from Taylor. Now towards the open goal, and they put through another one. They push it out to a 4-goal advantage now as Rankin gets himself onto the board at 6-3-39 to 2-3-15.
Yeah, Oakley Chargers, Caulfield Grammar, young Lockie Rankin. He was the boy that had the call up on a Friday morning before the Australian under-18s played Collingwood and said, "Do you want to go to school today or come and join the boys for training and join in with the Australian squad?" Well, he was there in a minute. And that's how, I suppose, life in sport's gone the last couple of years. You just got to be ready to grab the opportunities when they do bob up, because we don't know what's next week or next month in terms of opportunities. And the boys, many boys have put their hand up in this first half, aren't they, to the clubs that are watching here to take note.
6-3-39 plays 2-3-15. Vic Metro lead it by 4 goals at this stage. Low Country in attack here, trying to create something. An ugly-looking low ball there from Sarong. Doesn't get to its intended target. Although some high contact, so they're going to get a shot at goal here in the end. With a little clip over the shoulder. And it's going to be Hobbs who's going to have a chance, who's been pretty good around the ball to go forward and just keep them in this contest. They had the better of the probably 5 or 6 minutes preceding those back-to-back goals, but hadn't been able to convert. Another opportunity here. Not an easy kick from about 47 metres out. It's a helicopter punt that floats across the face and will go out of bounds on the full. So Metro will move it on quickly. Down our broadcast side, Saligo takes the mark again. He's one of 6 goal scorers for Metro so far in this game. Goes over the top towards Payer, who marks smack bang on the wing position between the two interchange gates. Has got a couple of leading targets, kicks that well. Mark taken, pushing up on the lead by Windhager, another one of those goal scorers. Couple of kicks from goal. We'll put this in the direction there of a couple of the high flyers. At the fall of it there was Padhadsky. Squeezed out and bounced down towards goal. Country with the numbers on the last line there. Gribble will send that over the top. They'll run it out of their defensive end. And it's going to come back in again. Taking a lot of intercept marks, Metro, particularly in this quarter. And they'll set this one up on the left. Towards the pocket, and a good mark taken floating across. This time it's Country's turn with those defensive grabs. Now it's Davies who's got it in his on the very last line of defence. Kick partially smothered. Davies has got to go back in after it again. Good work, just charging through full-chested. Gibkiss was involved in that. It's also sent there by Brown down towards half forward, and there it is once again to Bolfo with plenty of intercept marks in the quarter. Takes that one forward to the centre. Now drifting down into a little bit of space. Padhadsky couldn't quite take the mark. Gathered it okay. Flicked it over the top towards Saligo. Saligo won't have a shot at goal. He'll go to Dacos. And the umpire adjudged that went the required 15 metres, which would have been up for some debate. But he'll have a shot at goal here from about 25 metres out on a tight angle. If you had the tape measure out on that, that's probably gone about 9.5.
And you're generous. You're generous there. But set shot for goal for Dacos. He's been pretty good at this all year.
Would really top off what's been another very impressive half of football from Nick Dacos, the son of a gun and the brother of another. And that kick is just hugging the left-hand post but holds its line nicely. And they've opened the game right up here in the last 5 minutes. Vic Metro, they push it out to a 30-point advantage, 7-3-45 to Vic Country 2-3-15.
And Dacos up to the 18 disposals in the first half of footy and a goal. You know, that's on average for what he's been doing for the year, averaging 35 and normally getting a goal or two as he pushes forward. So he just works so hard right across the ground. He's a team-oriented player. He's so relaxed in the environment around a footy team. He's a natural leader just a clever... getting in the right spot on that occasion. Just clever, I suppose, reader of the play as he pushes up inside 50.
And he goes straight back into the next centre bounce. Ball thrown up again. Conway winning that tap down. Nevitt hand passes it to him. So Conway kicks off a step inside their attacking 50. Sarong at the back couldn't quite gather it. Ball squeezed out. The defence holding up well, as it has done the whole way through here. Sin with a little kick towards Dacos. Another possession. Hand pass towards Rake, who was on hands and knees and in an awkward position to try to take possession. Snap over the shoulder there by Rochelle down towards Andrew in the pocket. And the ball stays alive. Akui couldn't quite keep his footing, but had the presence of mind to hand pass that one out. And then a spearing ball out of their defensive end. It'll come over the top here towards Owens, who keeps on running. Gives the 1-2 back again towards Gota, down towards the wing position there. It was knocked away from Windhager. And now the tackling done here by Podajski. And they'll get a bounce ever so slightly, Vic Country's side of the wing. Conway's done all right in these one-on-one ruck contests. McDonald to Nevitt. Nevitt's kick high on the left, close to the boundary line. Couple of Metro defenders getting in each other's way there, and it's knocked over for a boundary throw-in. Josh Sin, one who's been pretty solid.
He just missed a couple of targets early, but he's kicked very well this quarter. I think he's a great natural kick. Going back to his 16th year, he was a star at national championships. And just early in the year, like many of these boys, just took a while to get his rhythm with his kicking. But I think his kicking will end up very, very good at AFL level.
Gota gets that hand pass through. Stepping through now towards Owens. Back to Dacos. He had another possession of that one smothered. Down towards Dibb. Dibb, little back heel ball back towards Owens. Stepping through there, Dibb goes again and draws a high tackle. Good attack on the ball, winning himself a free kick. Head down low. Kick towards an option in the middle of the ground. Sort of bit off a fair bit for that one, and it almost paid off. And in the end, they are going to maintain possession. Gota did well there to ride the bump. Floats an ugly-looking kick inside. Slipping over, but controlling it okay was Hamilton. Tries to give it back towards Davies, who's wrestled over for a throw-in, and a good tackle there by Curtis. So Metro have kicked all 4 goals in this quarter, and they've kicked the last 5 of the game. They're in their forward line again. Conway guides that tap down towards Hobbs, whose squeezing kick is effective. Gribble goes into the middle of the ground towards Nevitt. It landed at his toes, which means they've got a bit of a problem, and Metro could lock it in. So they're about 75 from their goal. Conway again guiding that one down. It'll come out to McDonald by hand. Left foot kick down towards the centre half forward position. Rochelle couldn't gather it. It's chipped away. Mark taken here by Vicentini in the wing position for Vic Metro. A risky kick. Numbers at the fall here with the Country. It comes to Gribble again, who hand passes towards a voice over his head. The voice was Clark, but he missed the target. Taylor sends Metro inside, but the good relief mark taken there by a man in Morrison who's held up pretty well under a fair bit of heat in that defensive end. Ballantyne has it on the outer side. Went looking for Andrew at the back. Molan's front and centre, but Andrew goes back in and gets his own football. Hand passes it out into a little bit of space. And then it was Gadsby that gave the hand pass off. They'll now go forwards, trying to get out the back and run towards goal. There was a couple of those country forwards, but the intercept mark by Wilmot was very impressive. Metro will bring it out towards Rankin, who's got it in front of our broadcast position. Kick fell a little short of its target, and the intercept mark taken by Hamilton. Hamilton goes into the middle, finds Gadsby. Noah Gadsby, one of two Noahs in this Vic Country team. Kicks that very high. Andrew, the target, had to try to make a contest. Rankin's hands quick through there. Dacos gave that one off towards Preston, who normally uses it well on the left. He's now opened up the middle of the ground. They'll chip it over the top. Pushing up and taking the mark there is Curtis. Curtis will go around on the left again, and they're going to get another shot at goal. And it's Howes who pushes into space and marks it in the pocket.
It was a good setup by Curtis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen him with his goal sense on other occasions, but this game's all about teamwork and thinking team first, you know, rather than thinking about your own wants and desires to get to hit the scoreboard. But
and Howe's kick is just drifting across the face and through for one behind. Not a bad strike. 7-4-46 to 2-3-15. Margin sits at 31 points. Metro with 4 goals, 1 to 3 behinds on the quarter. Hamilton with the kick out. Sinnott marks it about 45 from his defensive goal here. Hamish Sinnott sets that one up. And the mark taken here by Darcy, although you can't take advantage from that, which is what Sin was attempting to do. So Darcy will go back here and have the kick from about 60. Try to find a target for another opportunity at goal. Draws the man this time. Goes by hand, and that didn't work. Just losing their footing. And at the moment they didn't pay high contact. That probably should have been holding the ball, but it wasn't. And Rake gets away with one. Right on the halftime bell. So Country a little flat. They had some periods of control early in the quarter where they couldn't put it on the scoreboard. And Vic Metro ended up kicking 4 goals on the bounce to blow this game open to a 31-point lead. It is Metro 7-4-46, Vic Country 2-3-15. All single goal scorers for Metro: Saligo, Rankin, Curtis, Dacos, Windhager, Darcy and Owens. And for Vic Country, Molan and Andrew, their goal scorers. 31-point lead to Metro. We'll go through the thoughts. We'll get the thoughts of Kevin Sheehan on these two sides and some of the standout players across that first half very shortly. But
that's Grant Williams from the AFL, used to run the umpire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for inside, yeah.
And we welcome you back to Windy Hill on this Friday afternoon, a very pleasant day in Melbourne. As both sides back out onto the ground going through their warm-ups. A strong first half from Vic Metro, 7-4-46. They lead Vic Country 2-3-15. Darren Parkin is my name. Kevin Sheehan, AFL talent guru, is alongside of me, as he has been for a lot of the NAB League campaign as well. And Shifter, we'll start off with the side that's in front, Vic Metro, a really good spread. We were struggling in the halftime break to find players that hadn't made a fairly significant contribution. What have been your takeaways?
Yeah, it'll take a while for the clubs to analyse this. They'll go back and look at the tape. They're all here live having a look, making their notes, but then they'll go back and examine it to the nth degree. And they're looking for every little thing. They'll start with fundamentals, the blokes who are clean, and a couple of boys that really have caught my eye for being clean. Sometimes a bit hard to do when they're down back. You're not seeing their number and a different goods. Darcy Wilmot, he's been pretty special down back. He's bouncy, athletic, he's good overhead. He makes great decisions with the footy when he's bringing it from defence. He's a boy from the Northern Knights, a Montmorency boy, so he's done well. And the other one we did call out a couple of times, we missed him sight on, was Ben DeBolfo, another Northern Knights boy. For again, his intercept marking across half back. He's kicked the ball well on his left foot as well. And a third Knights boy on ball, though, Josh Ward. I've liked his work. Again, it's his decision-making and ball use. And I likened him to a Lukey Power, someone like that, he's got great vision as to whether to take the short option or the longer one. He just looks very quickly, makes quick decisions, and normally makes the right one. He's had the ball 13 or 14 times in this first half. And, of course, we couldn't miss Josh Dacos with the way that he's played. You say sometimes we use the term he's had on a string.
22 touches in the first half and a goal as well. He's had 7 more than any other player on the ground, and that's even above what has been an outstanding season average. I think you say he's averaging 35 or 36 a game and generally kicking a goal or two a week. He's on track for mid-40s and just doing it fairly effortlessly. His ability to run, you see him sort of pop up 40 metres further of the play, and then he'll be the chase-down tackler in defence. Exactly. Just does it all.
And I've also liked Preston's work down the back. That's Corey Preston.
Good user.
Just his speed and ball use. And we'd seen him as a forward. He's a boy that didn't play, we're going to go back now to 2019. He hadn't played in NAB League, was called up in his 18th year. Didn't play, but was still invited to the draft combine on the basis of a couple of practice games at Eastern early in the year. A boy from Ferntree Gully was going to come from nowhere. So he was close to getting drafted at the end of last year, and then had the summer at the Western Bulldogs. Just had a little bit of, I think he suffered a concussion at one point that just put him off. But he was a chance to be even signed in that period. So he's been thereabouts for a while, and I can see why today. He's been very impressive today, coming out of defence with that dynamic left foot. So there's some of the boys from Metro. We flip across to the country. We mentioned big Mac Andrew, and just to go over that rule again. So if a club was to bid inside 20, Melbourne can't match the bid. Okay, can't match it.
So they've got to commit. If they bid, they've got to commit. They bid because they know they're going to get him. So
the club. That's right. The other club would take him. So Melbourne mightn't get a choice to 17 or 8, depending on where they finish on the ladder. They mightn't get a crack at the kid if others think he's in the best 20 in Australia. Interesting to see the way that plays out, but he certainly had a brilliant second quarter and showed some promise in the first as well.
He takes marks when he's completely out of position. There have been times where he's been off balance, third in line in a pack, where he just reaches in there.
The reach.
And then the judgment. He's looked a very nice set shot at goal. He kicked from sort of 45 in that first quarter as well in a largely beaten cause at this stage. Conway goes up in the ruck. Nevitt bounces Country down towards half forward. They need to start this second half well. Ward, who's been good, squeezes that little hand pass out, looking for Gota, who's had a very good first half as well. At the back there's Dacos just continuing where he left off, goes to Sin. Immediately there's a tackle out wide. Sin tracks down after it, picks it up well in a one-on-one. Hand pass misses Dacos, going over the top there. Tracking back onto it and gathering it was Gadsby, who was one of their better players in the first half, Vic Country. It's chipped into the middle. They got it here smack bang in the centre of the ground as Nevitt floats that one down inside, and a good mark taken. Good, strong, contested mark by Wrench, floating into the hole about 40 metres out, pretty much directly in front. And an important opportunity for the first major after half-time.
And we mentioned he plays with presence.
Yeah.
And that's what presence is, that you keep presenting yourself. He's a big-bodied boy. He's 197. He's 100 kilos. Use that. That's your point of difference. That's your advantage. Present that big body as a contestant. Even if you don't take the mark, compete for it. He did that brilliantly that time. Took the mark, presented in front, and gives them a chance to really start the quarter the way their coach would have asked for at half-time.
Directly in front. 45 metres out, kick drifting right, didn't miss by a long way, but did miss all the same. 2-4-16 to 7-4-46. So they attempted to move it on quickly there. It's chipped short in the back pocket. And they'll go now with a long left foot kick across their goal, which is effective, and De Bolfo takes the mark. Dacos, another possession for him, goes towards Podadski. Sends it inboard, and that was good follow-up running there by Clifford to Dacos again with another possession as it goes through the interchange gates before Warner could take possession and over for a throw-in. Even 5-goal game.
It was Josh Ward that started that chain of events from deep in that back pocket. A boy with, well, we talk about composure with Dacos. Josh Ward's got plenty of that composure. You need it so many times in a game where you just don't panic with a footy.
There he is again, getting another hand pass. There's Warner, who chips that one into a little bit of space, and Deeb, who's done some nice things, takes the mark in the true wing position. Lost his balance momentarily. Now kicks the floating ball down towards the tall timber. And speaking of tall timber, they don't come much more impressively than young Darcy, who takes a contested mark 45 metres out directly in front.
And he's a one-grabber, this boy. We've seen, he's just had some moments today rather than a great game, but you can still see the long-term potential of this boy of 204 centimetres. We saw the left foot brilliant, but this is the set shot routine. Look at this. Crouches down. He's got a set routine. It can be whatever suits you.
Does most things well, as we say, such a good mover for someone of that size, and that's another good-looking kick. He kicked 6 a couple of weeks ago. He's now got his second here. Kick one on the left foot snap in the second quarter, and now the set shot from 45.
Split the middle. The goal umpire did not have to move. Just look for the length of it. Went to the line to see if it was going to make the length. Did it easily from the 50-metre mark as well. Great little passage of play there. Great contested mark in the pack. And it was a pack too. There's 7 or 8 in the pack there. And then he slotted it magnificently from dead in front, but 50 metres out. So a great finish by Sam Darcy.
So that's 7 or 6 goals in a row now for Metro, who lead this one by that margin. Here's Dacos just bringing his own footy. Kick just gets to its intended target through the middle of the ground, and then it's sent forward. Jumping up there, front and centre here with a snap around the body. It's looking pretty good. It hits the post. It was from Windhager, who sharked that Darcy contest nicely. It was put inside 50 by Podadski. It's 8-5 to 2-4. Margin sits at 37 points. 53 plays 16. Short ball in towards Hobbs, who's worked hard for Vic Country against the flow. We'll stick towards our broadcast side and set this one up. Morrison will have to beat a couple, and Darcy floats across and takes the mark, largely uncontested. Chips it towards half forward. So father-son to father-son as Dacos marks it 55 metres out. Floats the kick into the pocket and just didn't get through to its intended target there, which was, again, Windhager floating into that pocket and over for a throw-in.
And we might mention again, these country boys have been thrown together. The decision to play this game was just in the last week, and so they've gone from a group of 50 that trialled a couple of weeks ago to the 24 chosen. Would have come down yesterday, gathered, might have got a light run in together. That was all, and then expected to play. So they'll be a bit rusty. The Metro boys wouldn't have had much more preparation, but at least a few opportunities here in Melbourne to train and get to know each other and prepare for this challenge match. So it's not all on the line. The country, of course, they weren't due to play their first national under-19 game until about the 14th of August. So they were just in the mode of selecting potential squad members and maybe over the holiday period having a training camp. So all those arrangements have been put aside, and they've looked for the best fit to not only prepare these boys, but to give the AFL clubs that are all here in their numbers a chance to have a look at these boys at a higher level of footy than a normal state-level game.
And geographically difficult, obviously, to get the Vic Country boys together. You'd have some players from Warrnambool and some from Bairnsdale, which is polar opposite ends of the state. And they've done well putting all of this together very late. There's Dacos with some quick hands over the top. Chance to run towards goal again from Ward. The kick will land about a metre or two short of the line and helped over by Gibkiss there for a behind. So 8-6-54 plays 2-4-16. Margin sits at 38 points in favour of Vic Metro. Short ball in. Ward was racking up the numbers. They get 15 or so at the half. Searching kick out wide. It should come back in. Although a very good contest made at the back of that pack by Wrench. Metro will bring it back in, though. It's a 1-on-3 at the top of the goal square. It's flicked down towards the line and just short of Windhager being able to soccer that one through. It was done pretty well down there by Brewer, and one behind conceded. 8-7 plays 3-6 as it's worked up towards Andrew, who was paid the mark eventually. The late whistle, he played on in any case. Gave it to Gadsby, who goes forward, and a good intercept mark taken by Cleary. Cleary will go with a centering kick towards Ward. Half-back flank. Yeah, plenty of voice at ground level. Kicks it back to Andrew, though, who just had to stand there and take the relief mark. He's had, I think, up to 11 possessions on the afternoon. Kicks that one down towards half forward. Mark almost taken. McDonald at the front couldn't shark it. And we'll have a bounce 65 around from the country goal. Sarong was the target of that kick. Conway trying to win that one down. McDonald's hands out of that were pretty quick. Worked its way through towards Bravo, who's been a little bit quieter. And we'll have another bounce here, half forward flank, Vic Country broadcast or grandstand side for those familiar with the old Windy Hill, ex-home of the Bombers. Stepping through there was Hobbs, took on a little bit too much and will be penalised accordingly. He's arguing that he did dispose of it, but the umpire felt differently. Dibb here goes centrally. Well, the mark is taken by Rake, who sends that one across towards Akui, who marks it between wing and half back. And they'll continue out towards the Bowls Club side, where you can see the small venue scoreboard. Ships back towards Rake, who's called to play on. Didn't necessarily want to do that. Now he's got a bit of a problem. He breaks the tackle and then delivers a low ball on the half volley, which doesn't get to its intended target. Andrew, who's now behind the footy, puts a tackle on right beside the centre circle and will have a bounce. Andrew will now wander a little bit forward of the play there. Taken off hands here by Gota, sends the kick out wide looking towards his target out there in Warner, who was held without the footy. He'll get the free kick. Going along to retrieve is Owens after Warner got that high contact, so was held without the footy rather. He'll chip it short. Still a couple of kicks from goal. They'll now go over the top and get it down towards attacking 50. Owens has it probably 51 from home. Can he give Darcy a chance to have a run and a fly at this? He does. It goes over the back. Superior judgment. And the goal kicked with ease right in the goal square. And a comfortable ninth goal going the way there of Payer, who just judged it. When everyone went up, he stayed down, took the mark, turned around and kicked their ninth, 9-7-61 to 2-4-16.
Yeah, a good reward, a lucky one over the top to Payer there, but he's presented well as a leading forward, given them a target for this first half and a little bit, and sometimes it does fall in your lap, but he has worked hard and presented as that marking target for his side today. His side, of course, led by Nick Dacos, 28 disposals to date. Josh Ward's now up to 22. Josh Sin across half-back with 16 is the next highest for the Vic Metro side.
And tracking onto that there is Dibb, who gathers it, kicks on the left, up towards about 35 from goal. Ball spilled away. Rankin takes it. Lovely little sidestep. Shimmy back on the left. Kick inside 50. Pushing up at that was Dacos, who couldn't take the mark. A Windhager it was, and we'll have the ball bounced 55 metres around from the Metro goal. They've kicked the last 7 in the contest. And they lead it by 45 points, 9-7 to 2-4. Going up unopposed there, Vicentini. Hit that one down towards the last goal scorer there in Payer. Now it is Dacos on the outside of the boot, and it drifts across the face and kept on running and over for a throw-in. The overall disposal numbers, it was plus 44 at half-time for Metro and growing.
248 to 180, so 68.
Yeah, so
68.
already plus 24 in this quarter.
Yep.
And a chance inside their attacking end again. Darcy doing some ruck work. Paddles that one about 15 metres closer to goal. It's snapped out of there by Country. Metro will get there first, though. Slipping over there under a bit of pressure. Just as he tried to change direction there was Howes. Howes. It's taken through here by Country. In the middle of the ground. It should be coming back. Vicentini will gather it. Big man did very nicely. Little sidestep. Gives the hand pass over the top towards Saligo, who can run and drive it long. It's a pretty good-looking kick. Unlucky not to get a free kick there was Darcy for a bit of holding. He might still get an opportunity here. It's hand pass through under a bit of pressure. Also, there was Sinnott, and the ball now to be bounced about 35 around from their goal. Darcy again to take this ruck contest against Andrew. The athleticism of Andrew to leap up, and he's put Darcy on his backside there, but stepping through with a right foot snap towards goal was Gota, and missing it just narrowly across the face. 9-8-62, plays 2-4-16, margin at 46 points. Darcy would have been, he's still feeling that a little bit. Hands on his knees in the middle of that forward line after Andrews just drove the knee right into him. Hamilton takes the mark at half-back here for Country. Kick ill-directed, looking for Clark in the middle of the ground, who's been a little bit quiet. Cleary slides the hand pass through towards Payer, whose kick was smothered. Going back in after it. Stepping through there on the second attempt was Payer. And eventually they do win the ball out. Low ball forward towards the pocket, and the mark taken by Owens just inside the boundary line. 25 from goal. Good gathering of fans on that far side of the ground. So Owens will go with the banana kick, which is drifting across the face, and it is one behind. 1-1 for Owens today. 9-9-63 Vic Metro, doing as they please. Vic Country 2-4-16.
And Mitch Owens has made the most of his opportunity because he was the last minute in to this game today, this youngster from the Sandringham Dragons, the Bo Morris boy, playing across half forward. He's kicked a goal. At this point, that would be 17th disposal up until this point in the third quarter, so he's been a valuable addition to the Vic Metro team.
Kick towards Conforti, who takes the mark on the half-back flank. He'll go over the top. Morrison chipping that one towards the wing position. It got through and the mark was taken. And the mark taken by Bergman, who's been a little quiet throughout the early stages of the game, but still plenty of time for impact. Drives that one down the line. Doesn't get over the back towards Andrew. The handball fed out. Good strong tackle picked up there by Preston. Slides it through. Chipping ball effective there from Rake towards half-back where it's Taylor. Taylor will go all the way towards the outer side of the ground, pushing up off half-back. It's delivered forward. Owens gets rid of his opponent. Can he track onto the ball before it goes out of play? It just beat him over the line for a throw-in, 35 around from the Metro goal.
And young Miller Bergman, as distinct from Miles Bergman, Miles, the Port Adelaide player, played quite well again last night for Port. So no relation, I don't believe. But Miller is actually playing in a half-forward role today. So it's been a bit of a starvation corner to be playing in a forward role for the country. But we've liked what we've seen at NAB League level from this young fella. Lightly built, but a great decision-maker, great user of the ball, and just showed he could mark above the head. He's a boy about 188, so he hasn't got the body yet to be an AFL, or to be matching with the AFL type players, but you could see that he's got the skill set to be a potential player of the future.
So it was Dibb that had a shot at goal moments ago that sort of bounced out of play. Left foot snap from Ward, who sharked that off hands, was always to the narrow side. 2 behinds for him. 9 goals, 10, 64 to 2, 4, 16. So 2-6 to a behind in the quarter for Metro, whose lead goes out to 48 points. Andrews takes the kick up the middle. He's got Conforti short, but most of those options are closed down pretty quickly. It's popped over the top. Rochelle went in and found Hobbs. Hobbs will go towards a running player, pushing off the wing position. It's then driven forward. That's good ball movement. It gets out the back. Clark will gather, can streak towards goal. Can he go with the running banana? That's a beautiful bit of play.
That's a highlight, is it, from Judson Clark? But a great piece of ball movement by Vic Country, finally playing the way they would like to play. And then Judson Clark on the end of it, but showed that burst of speed that we've seen in quite a number of games this year, including in the trial match for Vic Country where he kicked the 5 goals. He showed that lightning speed through midfield to break away from his opponent. And he's got that natural goal sense. You'd back him. We didn't see the banana in vogue in that trial match, but I think he's got a few tricks and natural innate goal sense when he's up near those sticks.
Got a player down behind the play there, and that is Clifford of Vic Metro. Looks to be an issue with that lower leg. Perhaps in that chaser in that contest on the outer side. So the players stopped momentarily, and the medical staff are going to have to get out there. That's clearly at this stage, given everything that's in front of these kids, it's the last thing you want to see for anybody. Clifford he turns 19 in November from Hoppers Crossing via the Western Jets. Stretcher on its way out for he, so looks to be an issue with I think it's the right leg.
Certainly been one of their better players throughout the course of the year for the Western Jets too. Sam Clifford, very athletic player, can play on the smaller forwards or the medium forwards. Great team-oriented player as well, and has had a great start to his year for the Jets, and to be in amongst. He was very good in the trial that's earning him a spot in this particular game. So let's just hope there's a good outcome for him.
Yeah, that's the watch to come out of it, unfortunately, for, given we're into July and getting towards the end of the year and all of those opportunities that are presented for these kids, that hopefully he comes through this situation okay. They brought Preston back on in the meantime. Still down is Clifford. Stretcher is over there at the moment with the medical staff. Both sides gathered in the middle of the ground. Just on Judson Clark, we obviously even saw last week where he didn't hit the scoreboard as much, but he had that one in the last quarter where he took possession 50 metres out, burst through a couple of tackles, and then kicked a running snap on the left from about 35, which sparked them back into that game. And it looked like they were probably going to win that with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, and just gave up those last couple. But yeah, he's hasn't done a lot today, but as we've always spoken about, moments.
And I know that he models, in looking at his profile, models his game on Steele side bottom.
Okay.
And probably as a junior, because Steele famously kicked,
it was 10?
It was 10 in a NAB League Grand Final, playing for the Murray Bushrangers, and it was left and right. He just had the radar on, and he had the 32 or 3 possessions to boot in that game as well. But I think Judson Clark admires side bottoms work around goals, but his use of the ball. As Mickey O'Loughlin, who coached the NAB AFL Academy at one point, he would say, treat it like gold. The football, it's hard enough to win. When you get it, treat it like gold. Hit every target. Take every goal when you get close to them. And Judson Clark has shown that ability to when he gets near the sticks, to really make it count.
As I mentioned a few times, the other guy that I think he kicked 5.5 in that same game was Tom Rockcliffe.
Tommy Rockcliffe, he did. And again, it didn't work out on National Draft Night for him. He was taken in the pre-season draft.
Yeah. I think he led the goal kicking in the comp that year.
50-odd goals in the comp. And that we say that a lot, that the future positions at AFL level for many of these boys are not sorted yet. They're still experimenting even today with players in different positions, trying to find out what they can do. And AFL clubs will re-examine that when they do get to clubs.
That side-bottom game was a Lee Matthews-like game. Of course, Lee had a 39-possession, 11-goal game one day as it's taken out of the middle by Gota. They go straight forward again, and that's a very nice defensive mark taken in front of Darcy.
Might be Gisbus.
It is. He sends that kick out wide. Going through the fingers there of Molan. Well, hits the deck. There is Dacos stepping through. Gota again gets involved with a little hand pass. Dinky ball close to the boundary line and touched off hands for a throw-in.
So Josh Gibcus, that took the mark, then the spoil moments later, has got that discipline to be able... to
know the difference.
Yeah, to know the difference, make the right decision. And they're some of the decisions you don't talk about all that much. When to mark, when to spoil. When to close down your direct opponent, when to get over and help a teammates when your teammate's in a bit of trouble against an opponent. So he makes all those decisions well as a tall defender. He's in the van again here.
Podjadski sends that one in and right on cue. As Shifter said, Gibcus takes this time a pretty comfortable mark. The kick across goal was risky. Opening up here for Warner. Warner to punch it towards goal and through it goes for another one. So a couple of good bits of play, then unfortunately just going across goal there just didn't quite pay off for the team. And Vic Metro get their 10th, 10-10-70. Vic Country 3-4-22, margin out to 48 points.
Yeah, Warner's had a good few weeks. He actually was a star in the trial game. He's a bit of a running man, a running machine, just gets up and down the wing, prepared to work down in deep defence and push forward if the opportunity arises. But his constant running ability and goal sense on that occasion was prominent.
Left foot snap out of there by Ward, puts them inside 50 immediately. Ball touched offhand, so the mark not paid. Curtis getting a valuable hand in there just to increase the pressure. Chance there towards, that was coming through was Howes. Now they step through via Dib. Dib thought about a couple of options, ends up going into the corridor. They can step through. They might be able to get a shot at goal here via Ward, and they do. Knew where they were, just had a quick look at him on the left. It's his third shot at goal, and he converts this time, and that's 4 goals, 6 in the quarter. It's a 1-goal-1 as Vic Metro move out to 11-10-76. Vic Country 3-4-22. Had a very good afternoon.
He has. Yeah, really like this player. Look, by his standards, he'd missed a couple of goals early. I think he's dynamic around the goals. He showed it all there. Just poised, composed, technically a very, very good kick, and just buried that one.
Turns 18 in August.
It's up to 25 disposals, 12 kicks and 13 hand passes. He's taken the 7 marks and kicked the 1 goal too, so he's had an excellent day.
Second only to Dacos, who's up to 31. 17 and 14 for Nick Dacos, who's every bit as good as the hype would suggest. Conway does the ruck work and then does a follow-up tackle. Coming out of the middle, McDonald lost his footing there, sort of stubbed his toe on the ground, so was forced to hand pass under a bit of pressure. Taylor ended up winning that one back, gave it off towards Gota, who floats it towards half forward. Good mark taken there by Hamilton. Chips it into the middle of the ground. They almost got in each other's way. McDonald took the mark, drew the lucky ticket. Goes short again. It was a feature of their game in the first quarter, their patience with ball in hand. They go towards half forward. Good mark taken there by Bergman, who plays on quickly and drives the kick into the pocket. And a chance here for a shot at goal to be taken from about 40 to 45 metres out. We've got Sarong.
Could be Hobbs, is it?
Could be Hobbs, yeah. shot at goal here from about 45 metres out. Kick looks pretty good, and they get their second of the quarter. And Hobbs, who's had a pretty good day considering the tide against the Vic Country side, gets their fourth, 4-4-28 to Vic Metro 11-10-76.
And Hobbs had an injury-interrupted year. He'd played the first couple of games, had a break for a couple of months and missed a fair bit of footy, but he's come back in terrific form, but still being underdone, this youngster. He's up to his 18th disposal, so he's played with plenty of heart today. Things haven't gone really for the Vic Country side. He's one of their joint captains, but he's a terrific all-round player. Showed strength overhead to stand under it then, and a great finish.
Boy from Horsham. It was held it out the footy momentarily there. It's picked up by Ward, who just keeps getting the footy. Off half-back, they'll try to build here. Gota is at a big quarter as well. Squeezing kick forward, finds a target. And that target is Preston. Preston will go on. He's left foot out wide. Mark Spilt out there by Howes, who was the target. Tries to go back towards Gota. Gota on hands and knees against the couple. Had his pocket picked there by Gadsby, who did that pretty well. Ball squeezed out. Can they get a couple in a row here, Country? Floating hand pass over the top. Wrench surrounded, gives the hand pass back. Now the high kick down towards. They've got a 2-on-2 at the top of the goal square. Akui did well to get a hand in there. Showed good courage. It was taken by Owens. Just kept the ball alive. It stays in play. Hand pass fed back there by Gribble. Then the left foot snap towards goal from Clark. Had a fair bit of hook on it and missed. 4-5-29, plays 11-10-76. They'll go up the middle of the ground here, Metro, but it does open the door here. All the numbers with Country. McDonald 52 metres out, tries to pull the kick. Clark outdone there for height, goes to ground, gives the hand pass back, and going forward there was Davies who kicks the goal.
It's a role we haven't seen him play before, actually, forward at the sort of footy we've watched him play. He's a boy from down at Hailbury College and, mainly plays in deep defence, the left footer. One of his parents born in South Africa. So wonderful to see not just the Sudnoise boys playing, but there are other boys from, I suppose, you call it newer arrivals to our country. Families have come in the last number of years and have chosen our game to play. So you see that constantly when you look at the backgrounds to many of these boys that they're not all just born and bred young Australians, you should call it. Such is the popularity of our game, many of the boys are picking it up and have probably had other football codes in their upbringing.
Nevitt floats it forwards. Good contest made there by Bergman. They're going okay here. Clark steps through. Left foot snap down towards Davies again. Akui at the back, got a hand to it. Wrench, can he keep it in play? Not quite, just ran out of room. But a good little patch of 3 or 4 minutes here. 5-6-36 Vic Country. 11-10-76 for Metro. The ball out towards Gota again. Intercept mark taken. But a little bit too far out to score for Conway. And Conway, will he have the shot? He was going against it, but he might decide he'll unload a barrel here from about 65. Didn't look overly confident, made reasonable contact with it, but falls well short. And that ends the third term. Vic Country with a good little fight back towards the end. They're 5-6-36, but still a fair way adrift of Vic Metro. 11-10-76, a 40-point margin at three-quarter time. 2 goals to Darcy for Metro, singles to Soligo, Ward, Rankin, Curtis, Dacos, Windhager, Warner, Payer and Owens. And for Country, all singles, Hobbs, Clark, Molan, Davies and Andrew. 40 points to margin at three-quarter time. A big final term to come from Windy Hill shortly. So you know people standing that close to the bowls club over there?
Yeah.
Well,
There's probably more room than you think.
Yeah. And on the hill, that was all the same.
Yeah, but it was just all full. Yeah, it was.
And no nets there, I'm guessing.
No. You'd get here just looking at just a sea of faces.
Three-quarter time here at Windy Hill. Vic Metro lead by 40 points, 11-10-76 to Vic Country, 5-6-36. A couple of late goals to Vic Country, just giving themselves something perhaps to build on in this last term. And they had a bit of momentum late in that quarter, so still plenty of good players and plenty of observations out of that first half, out of that first three quarters. We'll keep an eye on any word that comes out of the Vic Metro camp around Sam Clifford with that injury sustained late in the third quarter on the opposite side, the Bowls Club side of the ground. About to get underway in the last quarter. Metro attacking towards the left of your, towards the right of your stream rather, and Country towards the left. Taken out of there nicely by Hobbs. Feeds it through towards Nevitt, who's hand pass forward. Gets on the bounce, follows up his own ball, was stripped of it. Stepping through there nicely was Taylor, who's done a couple of good things. Ward, who's been terrific, feeds the hand pass out. Owens floating kick forwards. Numbers here with Country. Although Metro doing pretty well there. Hand pass through. Nevitt gets another one. It's it off towards Hobbs, who goes at a low ball towards half forward. Not breaking stride. Metro take the mark. The Bolfo bounces it down towards half forward. And it's taken there by Hamilton. Chipping ball works its way out towards Gribble, who started to get into the game a bit in the latter stages of that third term. Sends it out wide towards Wrench. Floats it forward. Andrews there in the pack, climbs high with great athleticism. Couldn't take the mark. Just gets a little hand in there to knock that one to ground. Good tackle by Hobbs to lock the ball into the area. You could argue there was some case for prior opportunity, but the ball will be bounced. Owens getting himself up a little bit slowly there. In fact, it was Sin getting himself up a little slowly there. Wrench takes that one down. Hobbs trying to step through. He had Clark running past, but couldn't quite get it to him. Out of their defensive ends. It's good play by Wilmot. That's going to come back, though. Nevitt takes the mark, just a fraction too far out to score. Front edge of the centre square. Up to about 19 on the day. That kick will land about 25 metres out, and taking another very good defensive mark this time was Owens. Gave the hand pass off. Kick will float out wide. Rankin with a good little nudge. Used his body well to get rid of his opponent. Now gathers it. Right foot kick will land comfortably out of bounds on the full. Just a little off balance. And the free kick here will go the way of Ballantyne. Jamison Ballantyne in front of our broadcast position. Runs inboard. Kicks down towards half forward. Climbing high at the back there was Sarong. Couldn't take the mark. Good work there, stepping through. Now it comes back towards Gadsby, whose kick was knocked down and floats across. Chipping ball out wide from Dacos to Warner, as we have another injured Metro player in DeBolfo, who's down with a leg issue. We'll keep an eye on him. Ball worked across by Cleary into the corridor. It'll go to Ward again. It's sat up and allowed Conway to get in. Ward did pretty well to take the body of the bigger opponent. Conway, though, gets it through. Chance there towards Rochelle to kick towards goal and kick a very nice one. Rochelle gets his first and a sixth goal to Country, who have tightened this game right up, but just keep an eye on Warner, who's making his way off the ground in front of us. DeBolfo, rather, making his way off the ground in front of us here. A little sore. Sin? Have a third crack at that. Sin making his way off the ground.
A great finish there from Josh Rochelle. On that occasion, we mentioned earlier, he'd kicked a 6 and a 4 this year, and one of his great, I suppose, weapons is his goal-kicking ability, and that was a lovely, off a couple of steps from 50 metres, dead centre. A great finish to him.
So Sin and also Clifford in the wars for Vic Metro today. And another lower leg issue. Looked like the knee for Clifford, but this time lower than that for Sin. Country going okay in the last little while. Rochelle goes forward. Andrew feeds the hand pass through. Rochelle followed up his good work, and he kicked a second goal in a minute. Sprays it off the outside of the boot and kicks it out on the full.
Terrific quick hands there from Andrew, wasn't it? Fantastic quick hands. The vision to spot it, but it was lace out to Rochelle from Big Mac Andrew.
Kui works that one inboard. Rake has it in the corridor towards Dacos, who's heading towards a 40 possession game. Will be in the mid-30s. Chipping ball in towards Preston. Preston will start the switch. Rake's there. He's got a Kui in the extreme pocket. He'll go over the top by hand instead. So a bit more central, and eventually it will come towards a Kui, who has it in the back pocket. He'll Go into the corridor. Good kick. Taylor takes the mark. Awkward looking ball, but a little bit of room to move. If they can get this one over the top, they do. Connected well. Had Dacos short, goes a little bit longer than that. Owens down into some space. Will gather the bouncing ball. Feed the hand pass effectively over the top. Measuring kick into the pocket is effective. And Curtis takes the mark. A couple of steps inside the boundary on the opposite side. Generally been pretty neat around goal. As we say, kick 3 a couple of weeks ago. Looking for a second goal here. Darcy comes back onto the ground in front of us for Metro, but Curtis with the kick. 35 to 40 metres out. Wrong side for a left footer, but he's made pretty good contact with that anyway. And he's put it through for a second goal. So taking his chances in that forward half, Paul Curtis. And it's 12-10-82 to 6-6-42.
And we mentioned earlier about the 4 goals in a quarter that we'd seen him do for Western Jets against Sandringham earlier in the year. And as he's coming in then, I could picture him kicking about 3 from about that spot, on the wrong side for the left footer, deep in the pocket. And on that occasion, then he was accurate. I didn't want to moz him by mentioning that before he kicked it.
The old commentator's curse.
Very, very good set shot for goal, this young fella.
I think he had 6 or 7 shots in a quarter. He kicked 4-2 or 4-3 in that burst, which was pivotal to them opening up that game when they were the lesser fancied of the sides. Vicentini going up in the ruck that time. Good tackle. Taken out of there by McDonald. Floating kick up inside. Wilmot did well to sort of peel off and get a hand on that spoil and bring it to ground. Chance if they can work their way through here. The ball didn't quite get to its intended target, and free kick will go against Bravo there, who held onto his opponent for too long in the tackle. And the ball in the hands of Vic Metro, who lead it by 40 points, 12-10 to 6-6. Short ball finds Ward. Ward's kick showed a bit of it to the opposition, but marked by Saligo on the outer side half-back flank. Kicks into the middle of the ground, looking for Gota, who marks on the second grab. Looking for a runner coming past. Finds that option in Dacos. Dacos under a bit of pressure, forced to kick on the left, a little bit off balance, looking for Dib. Dib used his body well. Can't quite track onto the footy. Numbers still around the ball here for Metro. Here's Curtis again on the left. Got a fairly open forward line. Goes long down towards goal. Will it get the favourable bounce? I don't think that was touched. Curtis has kicked the goal. He's got 3. That was a half a shot, half a kick towards that Darcy contest. And in the end, it bounces through. 13-10-88 to 6-6-42. 3 goals now to Curtis.
Well, if you're good at something, become great at it is the message we often give young fellas when we're talking to them. And if it's your goal kicking, will just be a great kick with the set shots, the snaps, make it your absolute weapon. And again, we've seen some glimpses today with young Paul Curtis that he's got something special to offer as a small forward.
Plenty to like about a number of these players. We'll have a chat about what's next in a moment. Vicentini goes up against Andrew there. Nevitt, who's been their busiest player in the last quarter, caught over at the top of the football. So in terms of rep opportunities, where do we go next from here?
Well, it's a little bit of wait and see, but certainly the plan is that from the 24th of July for the following month, there would be 5 of these matches played, but the Vics would only play 1 each. They'd play against the Allies is the plan. Their games against WA, SA, and then again against themselves wouldn't be until September. So this is just a warm-up game, a challenge match as it's being called, getting ready to play the Allies. The game was due to be played yesterday, Vic Metro versus the Allies up on the Gold Coast. Didn't happen, of course, so that's why we've had this challenge match occurring.
Gota to Dib to Darcy, ball knocked to ground. Owens front and centre, brought to ground. And the umpire will call for a bounce 25 metres out, directly in front. NAB League action continuing tomorrow as well. Taken out of there with a hurried snap towards goal that misses away to the right-hand side there from Podajski. It's 12-11 or 13-11-89 to 6-6-42. 47 points is the margin at the moment as Country work their way towards half-back. Long ball forward at the back. Wrench took the mark on the third bite, did it nicely. We'll try to chip towards a target and miss that target. And Vicentini dropped into the hole. Sends it out wide towards Saligo. Goes along with the kick. Goda has been very good, takes the mark. Joshua Goda. Inside the contest and outside. Chip short to Preston.
He's a one-touch player, Goda. That's what I've loved today. Whether it's inside the contested ball, sort of in the centre of the ground for the ball ups at the start of play, or whether it's even wider on the wing. He's one touch with his grabs, sets it up beautifully using terrific clean hands.
Here's Preston again. Goes inside, trying to turn his opponent inside out. Dib trying to run onto it. Did pretty well just to track that ball. Kept his eyes on it the whole way. Was caught in a tackle. Stepping through there was Darcy. Fed the hand pass through. Comes out again towards Owen. Owen snaps towards the top of the goal square. Darcy gets back, makes a contest. But in the front position there was Gibcus. Sends it out looking for a teammate on the outer side. But Rankin will get there first. And eventually over for a throw-in. 13-11, 89 to 6-6, 42. 47-point lead. Last two goals of the game coming to Paul Curtis. Andrew going up in the ruck there, taken by Dacos, slides the hand pass inboard. Now a running shot for goal on the left. Looks pretty good. And in it goes for another one to Ward.
What a day he's had. It's up to 29 disposals. He's kicked, that'll be his second goal. 7 marks. He's been a marvellous player today. We've sung his praises right from the start. Keeps it very, very simple. Doesn't fumble the ball at all. He's courageous. He's an attack on the ball. A great decision maker, hand and foot, and a hard worker too. So he's had a terrific game. As I say, 29 disposals. Dacos is up to 37, by the way. And talk about Mitch Owens making the most of the opportunities. He's up to 29 disposals as well. So he's probably the big mover today, to see a boy like that grab a chance at late notice, jump in and grab that opportunity with both hands. Goda with 21 has been very good for Metros as well.
Taylor with a kick forward. That's a lovely attempt there by Curtis, who picked that up beautifully on the half volley, almost completed the mark. That's a nice trap in any case. He was caught immediately after Vicentini and Andrews going up there. Unlucky not to get a free kick at the bottom of that was Hobbs. Ball comes out to Taylor. Taylor's kick just went over the head there of Curtis, who was the target. Owens there puts a tackle on. Going in after it again, looking for a 30th possession. Eventually it comes out. Give kiss to Andrew. Andrew's snap will land in the middle of the ground. Trying to trap that one was Bergman. It's one back here by Metro. Dacos got an option over the top. Decides he'll run and kick long towards goal. And he's just hit the post. Just drifting late. 1 goal, 1 to Dacos. 14-12, 96 the Metro. 6-6, 42 to Vic Country. 54 points the margin.
Fair day's work, isn't it? 39 disposals, 9 marks. He's had the 6 clearances as well, 1 goal, 1. Remembering these games are shortened. It's no time on at all, just 25 1/4.
Through the middle of the ground. Rashali sends Country forward. Kui made a nice contest. Wrench goes in there, feeds the hand pass out. Can he get onto the left foot there and snap that down towards goal? That was Conforti, and it's off hands for one behind. So 6-7, 43 to 14-12, 96. Margin at 53 points. Kick out to be marked here by Warner, who's one of the goal scorers for Metro today. Kicked a nice goal at that end of the ground in the previous quarter. Taylor back towards Akui at the top of the goal square. Down the line they go. Goes over the head there of Windhager, so Country should be able to get this one back. Conway sends it down towards half forward. I'll slide it through by hand. McDonald was involved in that exchange. Now it's hand passed over the top there by Bergman. And 40 little conceding some territory. Hurried snap forward looking for Ballantyne. Now the shot towards goal looks pretty good. And they've been able to squeeze it through under a bit of pressure for goal number 7 on the afternoon. And they move along to 7-7-49 to 14-12-96. Margin back to 47 points. A strong second half by comparison to where they were at in the early stages of the game. They got out to nearly a 10-goal margin at one point. So Ballantyne doing nicely in that passage of play. Gota feeds the hand pass over the top. Dinky ball towards Dacos, who runs forward of it. Just a little toe poke off the grounds. Couldn't gather a clean possession, but puts them inside 50. Comes out again towards Dacos. Squeezes a kick that goes about 8 metres. It's punched forward. Taken once again there by Warner. Hand pass over the head. Gota with a spin. Floating hand pass forward towards Padadsky. That was Vicentini. Measures it in towards the goal square. Country should be able to repel. And that's a neat kick out. Getting a hand to it, but unable to complete the mark was Bravo. He's been a little quieter.
That kick out, well, just missed him there was Tom Brown, of course, the son of Paul Brown. Paul played 80 or 90 games, I'd reckon, at the Cats.
He did, back in the mid-90s,
He
I think.
did.
Yeah.
Terrific player, and this young fella's really unfolding as an AFL prospect, playing mainly as a defender. I've seen him play forward as well, a good-sized boy down at the Geelong Grammar, but comes from up around Shepparton Way.
Paul had a couple of big bags of goals in some of those Geelong sides of 92 and 94, kicked 6 in a game against Fitzroy at Princess Park. Taylor takes it out of there, floats it towards half forward. Good mark taken. Strong hands on the clunk from Howes. Goes down towards the top of the goal square. It clears the head of Darcy, clears the head also of Vicentini. And the mark taken on the last line of defence. It's chipped into the middle of the ground. Rochelle goes looking for Clark at the back. Good contest made by Wilmot to bring that one to ground. Should be able to work their way forward here. Howe slipped over, though. Still got it on 50. Sliding hand pass through, looking for Dacos, who couldn't take possession. Stepping through there was Rankin. Feeds the hand pass out. Ward spears it in low. And Curtis, in that range that we were talking about, where he's had so many shots at goal, will get another one on the left. On the wrong side for a left footer, but he's proven effective. Could end up kicking 4. If he can convert this one, it'll be 3 in the last quarter. 40 metres out. That one is missing near side. 3 goals, 1 on the afternoon, and they move to 14 goals, 13, 97 to 7, 49. Chipped into Hobbs. Goes to Nevitt. Nevitt went looking for Ballantyne. It was a bit of an afterthought. Ballantyne was out there for a moment and then had sort of given up on it to push further up the ground. And the kick came his way, and Windhager was able to knock it over the line. Ballantyne there turns it over with a centering kick, and then the flying shot at goal from Taylor was narrow the whole way and one behind. He's had a solid enough day, Taylor. 14 goals, 14, 98 to 7, 49. Double the score. As Brown from the kick in goes to the pocket. A long ball back towards all of the Metro numbers. Preston takes it. Going down towards Curtis again, who will mark probably a fraction too far out to score. Player on the mark where the 50 meets the boundary. Short ball in towards Windhager. takes the mark. You mentioned that Windhager associated through the Saints Academy.
Yeah, Next Generation Academy, so eligible, remember, after the top 20. So if there's been bid by another club and from the 21 onwards, they would be able to match the bid by upgrading using points.
Kicked a nice goal in the opening quarter. There's a pretty tough set shot from out there, and it looks tightish and just missing near side. 1-2 for Marcus Windhager. 14 goals, 15.99, plays 7.749. Stepping through inside there was Chesser. Kicks forward there, looking for Andrew, who couldn't take the mark but recovered well. Went to ground. Ball squeezed out. Stepping through traffic there was Gribble. Kicks down towards a contest. Forward the ball. Can they make something happen here? Just overrunning it was Molan. And Metro should be able to take this one out of there. Saligo gave the hand pass off. Preston's kick down the line was effective. Long kick forward. Off hands. Hamilton did that pretty well. It's brought into the middle of the ground. Ill-directed kick. Taylor takes the mark. Chips it into the centre towards Podajski. Long down towards the top of the goal square. It drifts away from Darcy, who's been fairly well contained. And over for a throw-in. What were Taylor's numbers again? We were able to get those? 20.
Yep. Up to 21.
So a throw-in inside 50 for Metro. Taken out of the ruck and the clearing ball from Country down towards Andrew. Goes up. Couldn't quite take the mark. Sticky fingers all the same. Pajadzki steps through. Kicks it long towards the top of the goal square. Tracking back Darcy. Couldn't take the mark. Chesser soccering that one down towards Morrison, who went over the boundary, Hamilton rather, over the boundary line for a throw-in. About 15 metres around from the Metro goal, who lead 14 goals at 15.99 to 7.749. $3-5 to 2-1 in this last quarter. Wrench to Nevitt. Nevitt's clearing kick. Pajadzki, who's had a good last quarter, takes the mark. He will set it up, give a chance for the high flyers to get a run and jump at the ball. Darcy came across from the side, almost pulled that down. There's Dacos to top off his day. Front and centre, left foot snap, and a second goal.
Well, he's done it all, hasn't he? He's up, I think it's probably 41. He had 40. That quick kick before was his 40th disposal, and that smart snap, his 41st. To go with his couple of goals, gee, what a day. But that's what he's done. It's been his pattern for the whole year in just about every game he's played. We're talking about a guy that's played just in the NAB League in the main, but we see him play for Australia versus the Australian under-18 team versus Geelong's VFL opponent. Again, he had close to 30 in that game. He's had a game, it was a trial match, I think, for Collingwood's VFL side at the start of the year, and was in the best few players on the ground in that match. So he's doing everything he possibly can in his draft year to establish himself as one of the best young players in the land, if not the best.
Taken out of here by McDonald, who's been one of their better players. Just kicks long towards a relatively open forward line. Cleary tracks onto it for Metro. Sets it up towards Warner. Showed a lot of the ball there to Ballantyne, who came across and got a nice spoil on that. And over for a throw-in. 41 to go with 9 marks. 2 goals, 1.
And he's a Collingwood 6. Well, he's better than the Collingwood 6. He's actually 6 foot. He's 183 centimetres, right on the 6 foot mark. Certainly a good size to play, that midfield role. He's quick and agile. Most of all, a great reader of the play.
Yeah, absolutely. Hobbs gave that hand pass through. McDonald pulled off the footy. Hobbs goes back in there to try to get it again. 15-15 plays 7-7, 56-point ball game. And we'll have a bounce eventually, 35-40 around from the Country goal. Again, it's Wrench. hurried snap across, bounces out for a throw-in in the opposite pocket nearing the end of this contest.
And to give a few of the country boys a mention too with some disposals, Ben Hobbs is up to 25, Connor McDonald 25, and Mitch Nevitt with 22 are the leading three for the country.
So as the ball comes back into play, that ends the contest here at Windy Hill. A 56-point win to Vic Metro, 15-15, 105. To Vic Country, 7-7-49. A tale of the goal scorers, first of all, 3 to Curtis, who kicked 2 in that last quarter. 2 goals each to Ward, Dacos and Darcy, with singles to Saligo, Rankin, Windhager, Warner, Payer and Owens, who was very good. And for Country, all single goal scorers, Hobbs, Rashali, Clark, Ballantyne, Molan, Davies and Andrew, who kicked their first goal.